best in the division. And I promise, I will show it.
You can send anyone you want, but don't send anyone you want back. I'm number one, baby! We might be done if we are! 'Cause I'm gonna party like a
What's going on? We're back at it again. I am your host, Brian Socia of the Bare Knuckle Show. So happy to be back here with you again. And I was just chuckling before we started back here. I mean, the Memorial Day graphic. I don't know if I looked out like a cracked out Hulk Hogan, maybe a semblance of Tiger King with muscles, something. But I appreciate the great work by Vaughn Design. We appreciate you. And we appreciate all the veterans that have served and everybody that's here presently with us and those who aren't. I mean, Memorial Day, a great day to go out and have fun, go down the shore. We call it the shore around here. Go to the beach, hang out with family and friends, but it's important to remember those people as well. I hope you had a great one, and it was good to have a day off work as well for a lot of us. My thing was I laid in work. We never get off work here, and I laid in bed. I laid in bed for Memorial Day, not for the reasons I'd want to with my wife or something like that. I was laying in bed because I was sweating. I was sweating profusely. I have the worst sinus infection the doctor said they've seen in a long time. I feel like I'm going to die, but I'm glad to be here with you. So I can't complain after all these brave men and women went to war, but I'm just letting you know, if you see me sweating profusely, that's what it is. I'm probably sweating out like a bit of a fever as I speak to you. But I am always happy to be here. I try never to miss these shows because there's so much to talk about. Matter of fact, today, just a couple of things. Maybe you've seen mentioned, maybe you haven't. We're going to talk about BKFC Europe, how we're going to be going to Europe. We're going to conquer Europe. That's going to be awesome. And that comes with some tryouts. If you've wanted to try out and you're in Europe, we're going to tell you how to do that in a couple minutes and talk about how important the tryouts are. Also today, Louie Lopez, ahead of the big BKFC 44 main event matchup with Kai Stewart, he's going to be here to tell his side of the story. We had Kai on the other day, a lot of heat with these guys going back and forth. You may have seen the special that's been airing. We just put it up actually on the BKFC app. You can check it out. You should definitely subscribe to that if you haven't. BKFC.com to get in. But after we talk to Louie, who better to talk to than the guy that's training him, who's a legend in all combat sports, especially here in Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Joe Riggs is coaching him. So I kind of want to get Joe's take on where Louie's at headed up to this fight too. It's going to be a fun fight for us to watch, but a very intense fight there. Again, we'll get into more of that later. I'm going to talk to you about what I've been finding out about Great Falls, which is the event coming up, and how people are kind of reacting in the streets to what's going on there and who's picking who, stuff like that. And matter of fact, speaking of who's picking who, Kai Stewart, we had him pick the top 3 fights for Great Falls, BKFC 44, and he's going to be sharing that with you, his picks. We'll get this from Louie and maybe Joe as well, but I'm interested to see who Kai picks for the top 3 fights. I wonder who Kai's going to pick for I don't know. I wonder who's going to pick for the main event. We'll have to wait and see. There's so much more going on today, too. Again, just happy that you're here with us. So let's talk a little bit about these tryouts. BKFC Europe, huge announcement as we expand. This comes after the announcement that we have become legal, about a month ago, I guess, maybe a little more, give or take. I'm not good with time. It just all kind of flows with me. But it was recent after the big announcement that we're legal in Georgia now, which we're very proud of. So it just keeps rolling out. There's going to be more and more coming out. And now, not only are we legal stateside different places, but we get to go to Europe. And there's so much there. There's so much energy there, so much excitement. We can already feel it. And there's going to be some tryouts because going into new territory is not only exciting for us and you, it's exciting for the fighters too. It's more opportunities for them to fight, stateside fighters, the fighters in Europe. You can try out there. We've got some info on the tryouts. Right now, I can tell you this. Here's what I know. It's going to be June 10th in Bulgaria. That's where the tryouts are going to be. June 10th in Bulgaria. Make those plans to get there. Fast Academy is the name of the place they're going to be at, I believe. If you need all the info, you can go to bkfc.com. It's already up there. It's on the app too. If you're looking to try out, and more than this, it provides, for me, I'm excited, more content because I'm sure we'll be filming them. You'll be able to watch the tryouts. You'll be able to pick your favorites. That's the best part of the trial process other than getting the new fighters for the fans. For us, it's more stuff we can put on the app, and then you guys can kind of go through and say, hey, this guy's good. I mean, there's people who we haven't used. I mean, it took forever to get here, but they came through tryouts, and you might remember them. I feel like fairly recently it was a female fighter we had, Gabriella, I believe, just fought for us, and she took a while to get here. She came through tryouts. A lot of successful people in Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship over the last few years have come through tryouts. I mean, you can start with Lorenzo Hunt. Lorenzo the Juggernaut Hunt is always talking about how important tryouts are. He's run tryouts of his own, how important they are to get recognized. And see, tryouts, what you have to understand if you're a newer fan watching this, it's not just about how well you can fight, how well you can, hit the bag. We do have a punch meter, which Sam Shoemaker, we found him at tryouts. He broke the punch meter. He's famous for that. He hit so hard. It's not all about that. It's also about how you market yourself, how you present yourself. You're interviewed as well. There's been people that have heard about tryouts in this show, younger fighters that have fought for us. I think Darwin was his name that told me that. He heard about it, saved up all his money to go to like 2 or 3 different tryouts, and they end up fighting for us. So tryouts are no joke. It's where we find all the new talent, and we're really looking forward to see what kind of talent we can find in Europe, and especially in Bulgaria here, because if you think about it, as we continue to grow as a company, it's exciting too, because you're going to see styles. We always talk about how styles are going to change and develop, kind of like they did in UFC. You saw it in the early years. They developed, they changed. Well, now we're opening the door to these European fighters and trying out for them and going into a new territory like that. You might see some stuff you're not seeing yet. Then the United States people are going to see it, and then they're going to adapt it and so on. So it's going to be cool to see all the new styles and all that kind of stuff as well. Looking forward to those tryouts. Again, you need more info. You can get them. BKFC.com. All your info's up there for the tryouts. I mean, Sam Shoemaker, like I said, Lorenzo Hunt, I think Jay Jackson, Jared Warren. The list goes on and on. Some of your favorites from BKFC were found at tryouts, and you could be found there too. So get involved, bkfc.com for that. The other thing I wanted to talk about aside from tryouts is, pardon me, to kind of unpack some of the, I don't know if I want to call it drama. I don't know what I want to call it that's happening ahead of BKFC 44 in Great Falls, Montana. It's a lot going on. Of course, the fights are all great. You have some top tier Great Falls town on there. They are always bangers. It's a fight town. The crowd's going to be nuts. And here's the interesting thing about Great Falls. When I call around and talk to people in Great Falls, you call to see how your local media is doing, if they're promoting, what they're promoting. Everybody's into this. Everybody knows what's going to happen. They pick up your phone, and they say automatically, you say with Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, they say to you, well, here's who I think is going to win. And it was interesting the other day that I was talking to somebody from Great Falls, and they were telling me how big this is. This fight, as we said last week, has been made I think 3 times and fallen off 3 times. This is truly, it's not a marketing tactic, the fight that Great Falls has been waiting for. And I hope by talking to Louie Lopez in a couple minutes here that you're going to understand why this is the fight that Great Falls has been waiting for, and it will become the fight that you're waiting for as well. It's going to be a fun fight to watch, but there's a lot of drama, a lot of heat behind it too. Some would argue that I was told this morning as I walked in, somebody said, I feel like these two are kind of have some high school drama. And there's tinges of that. And we're going to talk about that. But there's also very real drama between these two guys. There's no love lost. They dislike each other. They hate each other. Will this solve the beef? That's the question. And you look down the card, I mean, you got some other great fighters there too. You got some other great fighters in that card, and the crowd's going to be hot, and they're going to be ready. But as I look around, I saw Kai Stewart out this weekend. He's promoting Great Falls. People are going nuts everywhere he goes. He's signing autographs. Louie's out there selling tickets as well. Everybody wants to see this fight. When I called, as I was saying, got off track. Sorry, it's my fever brain. When I called Great Falls, I was talking to somebody, and they were telling me, they said that basically one person was like, well, I don't like either one of them. I don't like their attitudes. I want them both knocked out. I don't want to see that. I want to see a clear winner. Someone else I spoke to was more on Kai's side. They like that he does the youth wrestling. They think that you can kind of look up to him. But then someone else out of the other side of the mouth is saying to me, I'm hearing that Kai's not the guy that he presents himself to be. I'm not saying this. This is what I'm hearing. But then here's Louie Lopez, who I had thought, in my estimation, was a great guy as well. And I'm hearing stuff about him from people locally, why they don't like him. They don't like sometimes his tactics, how he acts. They don't like that he claims to be from Great Falls, but he's not from Great Falls, really. We're going to ask him about that. That apparently, you can't lay claim to where you're from if you're not really from there. So we'll figure out about that and a lot more. Again, Louie's going to be joining us in just a couple minutes alongside Joe Riggs, his trainer. We'll talk to him after that. And, the other stuff, if you're looking at fights, a place like Great Falls, when you roll into this place, it's like Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. We're used to this, but it's even bigger there. It's like the only game in town because there's such a fight town. I don't even know how I'd rank them. And maybe you could tell me in the chat. Denver was a fight town. It really was. I mean, we saw that. They were insane, our biggest event ever. Then you had Albuquerque, Albuquerque's always loud and ready to go. They're a fight town. Great Falls is there too. That's maybe the order I'm putting them in. Maybe Great Falls will prove us wrong, but Great Falls, you're right there. You're nipping at the heels to be one of the greatest fight towns with the greatest fight you've ever seen with BKFC 44. BKFC.com. Get those app subscriptions if you don't have them yet. A lot of good stuff on the app. We're going to preview something a little later, as I talked about at the top of the show really quickly, where I don't know who put it together, but one of our content team, they did an excellent job putting together a little spotlight, a look at Kai Stewart and Louie Lopez. And if you are unfamiliar with what I'm saying, all this hate and stuff, it's kind of mentioned there a little bit, but they're also talking about Kai wants to become the youngest champion ever in bare knuckle. That's a big deal. That he wants to remain undefeated. That's a big deal. But Louie is kind of fighting not only for himself, but I feel like he's fighting for Joe Riggs too. And I feel like Kai is not only fighting Louie, I feel like Kai is fighting against Joe Riggs in his own way. Kai, not much love lost for Joe there either. We're going to find out about all this stuff in just a couple minutes, and we're looking forward to it. Now, the other thing about Great Falls that's interesting to me is that when we go there, you walk around, like I said, it's like you're the only thing that matters. But when you get in that arena, this place, I mean, the roof comes off. It's like that. It's insane. It levels up. So with the crowd, with the atmosphere, with the fights, it's something you're not going to want to miss. And we have a lot of great fights coming up. BKFC 45 as well. You want to get that for the app too, bkfc.com. You got, come on, Palomino versus Lily. We're going to take a small look at that a little bit later too. Palomino, I mean, this guy, number one pound for pound ranked in the world. Number one in his divisions, a champion, he's champion. The guy is unprecedented, unless you ask Lorenzo Hunt. Lorenzo Hunt claims he's the number one pound for pound in the world. But I don't know. Again, I'll throw that to the chat. You let me know what you think in the chat. Who's number one? The rankings say Luis. Lorenzo says him, but Lorenzo does like to talk about how great he is, and he can usually back it up too. He's pretty good at it. Speaking of James Lights Out Lily taking on Palomino taking on James Lights Out Lily. Any way you slice it, it's going to be an amazing fight. I mean, Lily is just so sleek. I can't wait. This is going to be Palomino's biggest challenge, I should say, yet. But I'm looking forward to see how he answers it. And there's more depth to that fight than anything else you can think of, too, because when you look at it, when you look at the fact that here you have James Lilly, who beat Tyler El Tornado Goodjohn in our England show, and now you have the guy that's training with Tyler, who they used to hate each other. It's kind of maybe he's going to avenge that loss for Tyler as well. I wonder if Tyler's going to be in his corner. This is all the stuff we're going to see coming up. A jam-packed, summer, I would say, for Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. And then after that, you're going to see the redneck, man, Dave Mundell stepping back in the ring. He's going to be defending his title against Mike the Marine Richmond. I mean, we're fresh off talking about Memorial Day. I was going to shout out any fighter. I don't want to miss anybody that's ever been in the armed services. We appreciate you, but we do know Mike the Marine Richmond's been there, so thank you to him as well. Now, Mike's got to be a little bit pissed off about this, I think, because Mike's coming off a fight with Lorenzo that I think that Mike, I mean, everyone, when you walk into a fight, you think you win it, but I think Mike, that was his, right? He thought that. I think some of the crowd thought that too. I think a lot of the crowd thought that, and then Lorenzo, boop, out of nowhere, knocks him out. He's doing I know he said he didn't want to be famous for that. He's doing the duck lips, we'll call him. And it was just like, wow, I didn't even see that punch connect. So what's interesting to me is to watch Mike Richmond, who's a terror. I think he's one of the biggest problems in Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Now he's going to go after a title with Dave Mundell. So I'm looking forward to see what happens there, because he's going to come back with a vengeance. If you thought Mike Richmond was a problem before this and was, a little angry, I don't know if that fight made him angry, but I got to believe it adds fuel to his fire. That's going to be exciting. That's just some of the stuff we have on tap coming up. BKFC.com. Grab that app. But right here and now, we have the guy fighting in the main event. We've been talking to him. We're going to do that right after we hear this.
On June 9th, BKFC returns to Great Falls, Montana. When two of Montana's own fight to see who'll be crowned the first ever BKFC featherweight champion of the world. Two men who have fought their way to the top of the division. Kai Stewart A brash rising star that has yet to taste defeat. Not scared to call his shots.
Great Falls, we all know who the winner and champion of the 145-pound division is.
And is eager to prove he's the best featherweight in the world.
I'm gonna win this BKFC world title June 9th.
Standing across from him, another contender forged in violence. With golden aspirations of his own. With a 100% finish rate, Louie Lopez looks to shut down the hype. When their paths finally cross in the Electric City, history will be made when they both aim to claim gold. This is BKFC Spotlight. Stewart versus Lopez.
So that is the piece that I was talking about earlier that would get you excited for the fight. That's on the app as well, bkfc.com. I was so excited to tell you about the upcoming events that I almost forgot to show you that. Thank God for my man Harris in the production room helping me out in my ear saying, yo, Soch, what about the video? So appreciate that. You can see him in back of me. He's running. He doesn't look tired at all. Louie Lopez taking on Kai Stewart coming up, bkfc.com. That's June 9th in Great Falls. It's the match that was made again and never happened, and now it's happening. Hey, Louie, how are you? Can you hear me, man? I guess Louie can hear me. Louie, can you hear me? I don't think he's out of breath.
Hey, Brian, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So, Louie, I mean, I didn't expect you to be running. The sky looks beautiful. You're going to make me seasick, but you're working harder than I am right now. Louie, if there's any question about your conditioning going into this fight, which there has been a little bit. I know I've heard Kai chirping a little bit. You're doing an interview. You're talking to me as you're running. So, I mean, how are you feeling? Your conditioning, how is it? I got nothing in my headphones, boys.
Yeah, I'm not hearing him either.
Yeah. Well,
Louie,
I can hear you very minimal, Brian.
Hey, Louie, do you have somewhere you can go where you're not running for a minute? I hate to ask you. I know you're training, but I thought maybe you'd be kind of sitting there talking to me somewhere. There he is. Can you hear me now?
I still can hear you very minimal.
All right, so I'm going to have to yell unless you can maybe...
I can still hear you, though. It's
All
okay.
right, cool. All right, so I'm saying if there's any kind of problem with your conditioning, it's been kind of hinted at by Kai, we've seen it, that maybe your conditioning might not be all the way there. You're joining this and you're running. Where's your conditioning at? I mean, you don't sound like you're tired. How long have you been running?
Oh, man, I honestly just started because of the video, but I'm going to go till noon. But that's neither here nor there. The fact is, that's all he's riding on is my cardio. That's all he has. I have over 100 tools in my box. He's got about 12. And though one of the 12 is me getting tired. The other one is his clinch. The other one would be him trying to get me tired. Just a lot of his game plan is going to end up eating him in the end.
So you hopped on the video to prove a point, to let him know you were going to do this interview running the whole time to show that you wouldn't get tired. I respect that. It's a great idea, but it's probably better off we do it like this because I felt like I was going to throw up. But you were like,
you're fine.
You're
fine.
Okay.
It's okay.
So let's just talk about, you're talking about the tools in his toolbox, but let's just talk about Kai Stewart, the person. When I say his name to you, we talked about this a little bit last week with Kai. First thing that comes to your head, what is it?
Fake ass pussy. Doing this all for show. He's doing this all for only when his phone's out. He's doing this all for only when the cameras are watching. He don't want to see me at Walmart at 10 p.m., just me and him crossing lanes. And that hasn't happened yet, but I hope it doesn't. But he doesn't want to see that. He doesn't want that. He'll whip out his phone as fast as he can, or whoever he's with to whip out his phone. Because the fact, A, he's a pussy. B, he wants to run to the cops. And C, he's a pussy.
Okay, A, B, and C. You got A and C, the same thing. Okay, we see. I thought maybe your perception changed a little bit of him after watching his interview. I know you had said that before. It hasn't changed at all. Now, what I look at is you guys seem to be really just filled with hate. You guys seem to hate each other. This fight was supposed to happen 3 separate times. Kai had said that you had ducked him pretty much every time you found ways out. Is that correct? I want to give you a chance to respond why these fights didn't happen.
Well, if they were to happen, I think we would see posters, A. B, if they were to happen, I think we'd see a little bit more signed contracts that I failed to fall out of the signed contract, but no, because he's lying. He's just doing anything he can about the 2-round gas little mole that's hanging around my gym. He has these little kind of white lies that my 16-year-old son tells. You know, I can tell. I know where he's coming from, and I know what he's trying to do. And he missed me with that over and over and over and over again.
So
trust me.
Whose fault was it, though, to be very direct with you? He had made it sound like you wouldn't sign to fight him, like you were nervous. Was it a thing where you didn't want to fight him in MMA because that's more, let's be honest, that's more of his game than yours?
We'll be honest with that fact. With that fact, and we'll be honest, maybe I didn't have the right coaching, maybe anything of that sense because I was still in Helena. But also let's bring up the fact that you can Google that I was still playing professional baseball. Unlike him, I have multiple. I'm a talent of multiple sports. Okay, I could do multiple things, not multiple fighting aspects, but multiple sports in general. Anything I do, I can be professional at. So I was in Melbourne, Florida, as he was still talking, playing professional baseball, making more moves than he would ever think about making, and he just kind of ran with it and said, you know, I was scared to fight him and this and this and that. When I got paid $3,400 to get paid for me to get invited to a scouting league, I'm not going to pass that up. I don't care about him, this, that. When I see a lot of money being paid for me to be able to play baseball, Kai's mustache talking doesn't matter to me at that point. At that point, I'm following my dream, especially when I didn't have the correct coaching, especially when I didn't have what I have now.
Kai's mustache talking. I like that. So, I didn't know that about you. I know Kai had mentioned about the fact that you were trying to become a pro ball player. What club was looking at you? If you don't mind me asking.
It was a scouting league for all the AA and AAA teams. Like we have farm leagues out here in Montana. They're called the Atlantic League, the Pioneer League. Yeah. That's all. You got to start somewhere, just like amateur fighting, but it's still considered professional baseball. Yeah. It was March, the same month that COVID hit. The same month I was getting chased back home from the airports, from airport to airport to airport as they were shutting down. My parents told me, you better get home. One kid that drove from LA came to the scouting coach, said, dude, I just drove here from LA. He said, you better turn around and drive back home.
Wow.
So, that COVID was the reason. It wasn't because of no cut. They were going to scout 49% of the players, and there was 120 players there. I figured I would have got a spot somewhere.
Well, I'll tell you something, Louie. Baseball players, they're very tough athletes because, I mean, they might not be fighting unless somebody charges the mound, but they might not be fighting.
It's a battle against your body.
That's right. You're playing an awful lot of games, and you're nonstop. So that shows you how tough you are. And we're excited to see how tough you are coming up in the fight. Again, June 9th, BKFC.com for BKFC 44. You and Kai Stewart. Kai's saying he wants to be the youngest champion ever. One of you guys is going to leave champ. What would it mean to you, Louie, to be a bare knuckle fighting championship champ? And why do you think you'd represent the organization better than Kai would?
I have a lot more to offer as who I am as a fighter, who I am as a personality, whether it be me too excited or me not too excited, which I'm fixing every win. You guys will see this win. You guys will see how I act in the conference. You'll see how I act everywhere on account of I want to be the face of this weight class and the face of this sport. And the fact is, I already almost am. You can't talk about the 145 division without my name coming out your mouth. You can't talk about the strength and the dog in me in the 145 division without bringing me up. Okay, when we talk about dogs, when we talk about killers, when we talk about bad motherfuckers in the weight class, Kai Stewart's name is way in the back of our heads. Okay, Kai Stewart's name, it doesn't come out the first five. You know, that's like you give a lot of names out, and then you go, oh yeah, there's Kai too. Kai's good too. Kai's good too. That's how I see it all. That's how. And the fact of me being champion is I can hold. It's not about winning and being the champion because I've already seen this over and over. I played it a million times in my head, Brian. I play the fight millions and millions of times in my head. Every outcome, I play it all over and over and over and over and over. So I've seen it a million times over already. I've seen Dave putting that belt right around my waist. I've seen me also holding it. Okay, because you can win the title easy enough by beating some clown like I'm about to do in 2 weeks. But it's all the names that come after that matter. It doesn't matter what happens in 2 weeks because I already know what I'm going to do to this chump in 2 weeks. He's going to fake an injury. He's going to act like he's rolling around. He's going to say that we were unaware of some kind of injury he had in his camp, but he's not going to make excuses. I already hear it now. Okay, he's going to have a life or death fight in front of him. He doesn't understand that. It's either you win or you die. Okay? That's how it goes. That's how I see it.
This is intense, man, and obviously from what you're saying, you feel the same way. So where does this all stem from? Where is this dislike? It's not even dislike; it's hatred, in my opinion, between you two. Where did it start? We've heard from Kai, but I want to hear from you. Why? What's going on between you two?
It's just, if you've noticed, he has this with everybody. It's not just, I'm no different than anybody. I'm just the one that's going to slap him for it. I'm no different than anybody you talk around this town that have bought tickets for me that says, I hope you can't wait. I can't wait to see you take the rim off this kid. I can't wait to see you peel his cat back, quote unquote. And I'm like sitting here like, what does this kid possibly have done? What has he possibly done in this nice, beautiful city for them to not like him like that? I don't understand it. So I think it just started from him acting the way he was and me just like, who's this idiot? I'll even move to his town. I'll even move to his town and take over if I need to.
That being said, that's something else I wanted to talk about with you. He's mentioned it numerous times. He might even mentioned it on the piece that we did on BKFC on the app, that you're not from Great Falls, but you claim to be from there. That's a big deal. So where do you hail from?
I was born in Helena, Montana. That's the funny thing. I was born in St. Peter's Hospital in Helena, Montana in 1991. These are my stomping grounds too. Who says I can't come 80 miles from where I was born and claim it mine too? Look at the shorts I got on. Come on. This is his whole high school. I'm running his town with his whole high school shorts. Come on.
Wow. So how do you think the people of Great Falls perceive you? I mean, if Kai is one of their own, you're saying you're walking into his town and they're telling you like they want you to just beat him. I mean, how do they perceive you? If I walked in and I say Louie Lopez's name, what do people of Great Falls see when it comes to Louie Lopez?
All of these people know me from is, well, sponsorships, fighting. Depends who you ask, okay? Depends, who you ask on anything, on any kind of level, Brian. It depends who you really ask.
Very true.
Okay, if you want to get technical, it really depends who you ask for anybody to have kind of a say on anyone, really. But the majority of them aren't going to say he's a whiner. He acts like everybody owes him something. He walks up and down these streets talking shit to all these females, talking shit. Nobody's perfect. But I hear all this bullshit of this kid acting like he's with the voice that he's got, with that little high-pitched voice. I don't understand it. It's a typical weasel scenario. It's a typical weasel that I'm going to just get rid of.
You're going to crush him, it sounds like. So when I look at this, I see how angry you are and how much you want to just destroy Kai Stewart. When I spoke to Kai Stewart, I saw, maybe it's a front, but I saw calm, cool, collective. And I wonder, I've talked to Chris Lytle about this many times. I wonder if you're so amped up and you want to win this so much, could that be detrimental to you? You're going to be able to control that? Because that's a hard thing to control sometimes. You and I both know that.
No. Don't get it all played. Don't. Listen, Bubba. I'm a jack of all trades, baby. I'm in a good mood. I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? It's all part of the game, baby. It's all part of the show. You know what I mean? I'm ready. I'm ready. Nothing he's going to do to me. Nothing.
You sure are pumped up. Hey, what are the holes in Kai's style? Like, how are you going to beat him? How do you beat him?
We wouldn't have enough time to talk about that. We wouldn't have enough time on the show to address all that. His footwork is wrestling footwork. His first highlight video, he's in wrestling shoes. I understand that he wants to be. He's clinching the wrong way, first off. His neck sticking up further than mine against freaking Rusty. I don't understand. He has no power. He has no angles. His wrestler angles are going to hurt him in the end. He's going to either be too far forward or too far back. He's going to be in the circle or out of the circle too much. He's not going to know the in-between. Want to know why? He doesn't work out with the agility ladder. He doesn't know his ass from his head. So he better start shadow boxing in traffic. Okay? That's what I'm going to tell you. If I beat him, I'm going to make it known that he better, A, try out and play professional baseball, and he better shadow boxing traffic.
So Louie,
that'll help him because it helped me.
Louie, for those of you that don't know what Louie's talking about, we talked about the professional baseball thing earlier, but Louie, there was a video posted you on social media of you shadow boxing in traffic behind somebody who was filming you, and Kai took some exception to that. He said you're acting like a lunatic. And Louie, let's be honest, that's crazy behavior. I mean, who does that, right? Let's be honest. I like you, dude, but it's a little...
Champions aren't regular people, Brian.
That's why I'm not a champion.
Champions aren't regular people. They stick out. Okay, they're not regular motherfuckers. They're the ones that take that extra mile, and they're the ones that really don't give a fuck, and that'll be champion and do what it takes to be champion. All this stuff that I've done, all these tactics that I've done, those are all working against him. Those are all tactics. Those aren't. You think I could do whatever I want to do here? I could do whatever I want to do in that water. Whatever I want to do, and still come June 9th and fight the way I fight.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing that. And before I let you go here, because I know we're going to try to talk to Joe, who I believe's with you, Joe Riggs. What's the issue here? Because I feel like this is a fight for Kai against you that he really wants, but I feel like almost from talking to him that he's fighting against Joe Riggs. Just he can't fight Joe Riggs. The weight class is different, so that's part of it too. He wants to beat you and Joe. He hates Joe, it seems like, but I don't think Joe loves him either, and I'm going to talk to Joe about that. But I also feel like you're also fighting because you have so much respect for Joe, who's training you. So this a lot deeper than just between the two of you. It goes with Joe as well, who's highly respected in combat sports.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it was just him acting the way he was. The reason he didn't get, asked to stay through the whole rest of his camp at Jackson Wink, asked to stay through the whole rest of his camp up at CCMMA in Colorado. That's why he's still in this rat gym, because he is a poison to the gyms. Okay. He's a poison on the mat. Okay. And a real legend and a real someone with his accolades as Joe Riggs has been as far as he is and done as much as he has. See that. And that's not etiquette and correctly how we work at the gym. That's not how things work at the gym. Just as if anything works anywhere else, there's a system. There's a system to everything. There's a system to me being on this show today. There was a system for it all. It didn't just happen today. Look at there he goes right there. Look at there he goes right there. He's driving.
Who's that? Is that Kai?
He's not stopping.
Was that Kai Stewart?
Look, there's Kai.
That was Kai. Why don't you run after him? What are you standing there for?
Did not stop.
That wasn't Kai.
I see no brake
That
lights.
wasn't Kai Stewart, was it?
Did you see him? He'll probably wing back around and drive for even further and yell. But I see no.
Man,
brake lights. I'll tell you that.
I didn't see any brake lights. If that was Kai, this is intense. If that's him driving by, this is getting crazier and crazier. I've never seen a fight build like this. This is a town where you two, it's just not big enough for both of you. So getting back to the Joe Riggs thing, you're saying that Kai's been a poison and cancer to all gyms. We brought that up to him. He had said that there's a lot more to it. He just thinks that he's. My question is, are you fighting for Joe and his respect as well?
No. They got I'm fighting to beat him up. I'm fighting because he watched this show and he's so much of a coward that he watched and seen where I was at location-wise, and he drives by and honks. That's things women do, okay? That's things females do, okay? Females do that type of stuff, which is, I have nothing against females, but I'm not fighting a female here. Him... It makes it look. And he took a left.
Look, I can tell you something. Hold on. Wait, let me tell you something. I wish we had a breaking news sound effect here. I just got confirmation through my social media that Kai Stewart says that was me that drove by. Okay, so it was Kai. Kai saying it was him. So
and he didn't come back. Look, Brian, you guys.
I mean, I'm not saying to come back, Kai. I don't want to stir any trouble here, but
I'm still in his town.
You could at least honk your horn or wave a little bit so we could have said hello to you.
Oh, he did. He honked a little bit.
I didn't hear that. Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't see him stop. I didn't see him jump out. I didn't see him.
Yeah, but is that
shadow box.
Doesn't that freak you out a little bit? Because Kai always has his eyes on you, it looks like. So I guess you always have your eyes on Kai, kind of thing. This town is not big enough for both of you. We're looking forward to see the fight.
I'm in this town.
He's just laying down now on his ground in his town. I feel like you're daring him to come back.
I'm waiting for him still.
I kind of want to stick and see if he does drive by. But hey, listen, is Joe there with you now? Joe Riggs.
Joe was not. Joe, he said he had to meet at a later time, so I don't think I had a time to get to him. I meant to text you that. So.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I unpacked a lot of stuff I wanted to do with Joe. I've talked to you about anyway.
He wanted to get with you at a lit. I don't know if that's something that. So
nah, we don't have a lot of time. It's all good.
So.
We talk about that off here. It's all good.
I don't know if it was a thing where he couldn't handle to where he didn't want to say anything. He didn't want it. I don't know.
No, it's all right. Don't worry about it. So I'll talk to Joe off here. We'll bring him on another time. Joe's been a very good guest in the past on here. We look forward to talking to him. But I've never had an interview like this. I've never had chaos like this in an interview with fighters driving by other fighters while they're training. He was able to watch the show and pinpoint exactly where you were and drive by. Have you seen any of these Kai Stewart posters he's hanging up around town?
Yeah, he's making them himself.
Is he?
All these posters I get, the made for me, people make them and send them to me. And I'm like, oh, damn, that's badass. You know what I always say? I was like, God, the internet's crazy. That's all I say. But he's going around making himself posters. He's like photoshopping himself, like punching and then photoshopping. He's spending at least 45 to an hour a day on these things, at least when he should be training.
Well, I'm sure he's training, because if he wasn't training, he'd be taking you lightly. I don't think that he's taking you lightly. Do you feel like you're taking him lightly? Because you had made a mention to me one time when I spoke to you, I think off the air. You said you get kind of annoyed when people say they're excited for this fight because it's not going to be much of a fight.
No, it's not. And the condition makes cowards out of anybody. He's overlooking my conditioning, Brian. He's overlooking my conditioning, and it's going to eat him in the end. You better keep working, and you better work harder, because guess what I'm doing after the interview? I'm going, buddy, and I'm going back to work.
All right. Well, look, Louie Lopez, we're very excited. I can't wait. Like I said, the town's not big enough for the two of you. A lot of drama. Thank you for coming on today. I know you're out there trying to train. We appreciate you. Again,
no, I'm looking for Kai now.
He's looking for Kai. I almost wanted you to just keep a camera on you guys all day and watch both of you. So, of course, you can see these guys, BKFC.com. Grab the app. It's going to be a huge card coming up in Great Falls, Montana, June 9th. Louie Lopez, who we're talking to now, and Kai Stewart fighting, both top-ranked guys in the division. There's going to be a new champion. History will be made, and we're looking forward to it. Louie, thanks for taking the time and coming on, man.
Hey, it's my pleasure, you guys. Hey, tune in, everyone, June 9th. It's going to be the best one yet, I promise.
Thank you. Any parting words for Kai, even though you gave us a bunch of them already?
Thank you, guys.
No, thank you, guys. All right, good. You know what? I'll let you go chase Kai. How's that? All right, there he goes. Louie Lopez. Wow. What? I mean, Harris, can you come on mic, please, for a moment? Can I speak to you? Can I speak to you about that insanity that just happened, that just unfolded?
What's up, Brian?
Listen, man. Harris in there, he's controlling this chaos. He's watching this stuff. Dude, turn the camera on. Show him what you look like. Do you have enough hands? There he is. He probably won't be seen today.
Yeah, what's up, guys?
You just watched that whole interview. I watched it. I was going to get out of it earlier. I mean, it was intriguing, but he was just so crazy. Like, he really wanted people to understand, to buy this fight, how ready he is. But I've never seen something like that. Kai driving by, and then I'm getting a message from Kai. It was me honking his horn. That was chaos. I'm actually more excited for the fight.
That was pretty awesome to watch.
I mean, does that make you more excited?
Yeah, this fight, yeah, definitely.
The drama in this fight is absolutely insane, and I'm looking forward to it. Harrison may have a few words. He didn't think I was going to put him on, but I knew I could see you in there smiling. I could hear you laughing. I could watch you smiling, and I knew that you'd be more excited for this.
Yeah, I thought he was just joking for a second, like, look, there he goes now. But then you were like, he just texted you that was him, so it's like, just... Yeah, definitely.
Where would we go from here? I mean, that's
got me more pumped.
Yeah, it was great
for a fight that's already going to be a banger.
Amazing, and you got a whole card that's going to be a banger. And I always tell you, tune in early. Don't think you can miss the free view, which we air for free. Obviously, the free view on YouTube. I think we do it on Instagram as well. We're across all different platforms. But tune in for that, because it's not like a boxing match or even a UFC fight where you're drinking with your buddies and half paying attention. Every fight in bare knuckles awesome. And when they're coming from Great Falls, these are bad, bad boys. You got Leo Bashir, too, who's a legendary guy. I think he's on the free view. He's coming back to fight as well. So you want to check that out. Stack card, BKFC.com. Check the app. Keep updated with that. And listen, I got to recover from what just happened, Harris. I got to think about all that craziness. I hope the people watching enjoyed that too. And if you're just listening and not watching, you got to watch us. Make sure you hit us on YouTube, the BKFC app, where we're on Rumble. Hello to our friends on Rumble, by the way. But for right now, let's go to a quick commercial. Then we'll come back and talk a little bit about BKFC 45.
champion looking to add to his legacy by dispatching another dangerous contender. An undefeated challenger from the UK set on dethroning the pound-for-pound king.
Palomino's the number one pound for pound. So for me to be the best, that's who I want to face.
There is no beating me. I will retire undefeated.
Wow. See right there, June 23rd. I mean, pushing forward, we just saw some craziness. Now we see this. June 23rd, another great main event. That's what we do. Shout out to the matchmakers. I think this one was Nate Shook. I mean, another great main event. And you look at that. I said it earlier in the show. This might be Luis's toughest challenge. Well, this is Lily's toughest challenge, too, to date. As well it should be. He's going for a title here in the BKFC. Lily is just so slick, so sleek. He's fun to watch. He's dangerous, man. Actually, Lily has, I just saw it. They were filming him when we were in New Orleans, NOLA. He has a new documentary that's going to be screened around his area. They were tweeting about it. And we'll have more on that in the coming weeks. But it's called The Warrior Poet, I believe, or A Warrior Poet. I believe that's the name of it. That's the title. Again, we'll have more on that. But I'm looking forward to his whole journey to fight here in America. And I saw the guy that was there filming it, and he's been tweeting about it. So we'll unpack that coming up on the show. But right here and now coming up, I mean, you have that main event. That's going to be insane. And then you have a guy like Luis Baboon Palomino, who, I mean, since I've gotten here, since day one, this guy's been dominant. As a matter of fact, I think he might be one of our, if not the longest reigning champion we have. I don't have a drum roll, so I'll do one. I think we have a graphic to celebrate his championship. Here we go. Here's my drum roll. This is the budget to get my show. There it is. There it is. And here's the graphic. Boom! Look at that. 1,040 days. That's how long he's held the lightweight title. 1,040 days. That's a really long time. I believe he won it at BKFC 11. I'm 99.9% sure that's where he won it. That's a long time ago. I mean, we're heading to 44. So congratulations to Luis Baboon Palomino, the bare knuckle baboon. He's a very classy guy, and I'll always love working with him. Love that he represents the company. We're going to hope he can keep representing our company in some way, and we'll see what happens. I mean, again, we don't know. That's the best part about this fight coming up. We don't know. Make sure you stay tuned in for all the BKFC info, all the BKFC drama. We're going to bring it to you, and you can always email us as well. I don't know if we have any video this week for this, but you can always send us anything you want. You can send us feedback. You can send us reports. You can send us what you thought of shows. It's all there. thebareknuckleshow@gmail.com. Right down there. Let us know what you think live. Matter of fact, we got a great email. I don't have it in front of me, but it was a great email. It was pretty long, too. Guy on Twitter, my buddy from England, my bus driver, he hit us up, and he was telling us how much he's enjoying the show. He's glad it's back. We appreciate that. He was, of course, giving everybody credit on the show because this takes a lot more than just me to do. You see people working hard in the back. He was just saying how smart it was and how he loves hearing from different fighters and finding out what's going on. So, good, bad, and different. We'll take all your feedback. We love hearing from you. We hope to get some more of the commenting, and we can get this show bigger. So make sure you share it because we want to grow it. We want to have more people involved. I'm reading your comments. I did notice that Big Ben said here that he said if he wins, Louie Lopez, if he wins. So you're saying there might be some doubt here, Big Ben, going into the Louie Lopez fight. But, we'll see. Give Leo, okay, we got some other good, let's see. You can fight. Would love to see him and Big Little Ben fight. Big Ben wants to fight Leo. The comment sections are always fun. You can hit them, BKFC, of course, .com. Hit the app, or you can grab YouTube, Rumble. We'll talk to you there. But for now, listen, it's been a great day. As I told you, I'm feverish. I'm probably running a fever of 100 right now. I'm just not showing it. I'm probably going to die when this show is over. I'm sweating profusely. So listen, I think we're going to call it quits for this one. I just want to tell you something. Thank you.
You're calling it quits?
Thank you. Did you just get excited? Did you get excited?
No, you got other stuff on your docket to cover.
I feel like I'm going to die. What do I have to cover? What did I miss? Did I miss something?
We got a little bit of video of Kai Stewart.
Oh, we have that video. I didn't know we had that.
Yeah,
that's how good you are, Harris.
And we have that June 2nd thing that we want to talk about.
Are we going to do the June 2nd thing? We'll talk about that. We should. I'm sorry. Again, I'm feverish. I'm like sweating. Sorry.
Maybe.
I need a guy like you.
Maybe that wasn't confirmed yet.
No, it's confirmed. It just the guy told me in my ear it's confirmed. Now, that's a little tease. What's coming up on June 2nd? If you know this promotion, you're going to know what happened on June 2nd, and maybe you'll be able to figure it out. But before we get to that, good point, Harris. I don't know what I'd do without a guy like you. You're my backbone in there, especially when I feel the way I do. Thank you for the reminder. And I'm glad you pulled that. I didn't know you got that done. Kai Stewart, this is interesting. We talked about at the top of the show. I know he was in there working feverishly, probably thinking, Soscia didn't tell me about this, and he's trying to get it ready. So we had Kai predict the top 3 fights for Great Falls. And let's take a look at that now. Let's see who he thinks is going to win all top 3 fights. It's always interesting to find out what these guys think.
In the featured fight, we got Billy Wagner versus Bryce Henry, and I honestly have Billy Wagner. He's an absolute stud. Just fought at Madison Square Garden in a boxing match. He's also sponsored by one of my sponsors, and I truly hope that he takes the victory. In the co-main event, Dallas Davison versus Cupcake. I got Cupcake all day. His first knockout in BKFC was absolutely brutal. He is an absolute dog in the sport. He's a Bellator vet, and I don't see how he comes away with a loss. In the main event on BKFC 44, Kai Stewart versus Louie Lopez. We got Kai Stewart with the dub. I don't care how it happens. All I know is that if you want to bet some real money, bet it on Kai Stewart because we're taking it home.
We've done Lido's Locks before, right? We got Kai Stewart giving you the money pick. Kai Stewart is the money pick. Although if you spoke with Louie Lopez, as we just did, he'd be the money pick. So always interested to see what these guys have to say. Do you agree? Excuse me. See, I told you. That's gross. I apologize. Do you agree with Kai Stewart's synopsis there, the top 3 fights? Let us know in the comments section. And if I don't see it now, I'm going to read it later. I always read all your comments. What do you think for the top 3 fights in Great Falls? We'd love to hear from you. And you can always send that in too. Like I said, thebarenukcleshow@gmail.com. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. Now, the June 2nd thing for that, what we were talking about. June 2nd, if you know, and you've been following Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship for a while, that's our anniversary. That is the first show that we ever ran. So we're going to have some special programming coming up on the BKFC app. Again, bkfc.com, just $7.99 a month. Go there and grab it. Special programming coming up this Friday at 8 o'clock. I think we have a slate for that, don't we? They put a very pretty slate. There we go. 5 years of BKFC. You can rewatch history being made. BKFC 1 this Friday, June 2nd, 8 p.m. Tune in, man, because it's fun to look back at that small ice rink. Look at it. It's all lit up. You can see it in the picture. I mean, this is way different from the venues we're running now. You can see where we kind of came from. You can see the ice hockey teams on the wall. Look, we didn't have it draped, the walls. It's pretty crazy to see how far we've come, not only fighting-wise, production-wise, and maybe you'll see some people that you're familiar with, and you see where they came from if you're just learning the sport. It's a really cool view, and maybe they'll even put some more content on there. Just tune in to see. BKFC app, bkfc.com. Get in there. Make sure you do it $7.99 a month and celebrate with us. Hopefully I'll be feeling better and I can celebrate with, I don't know, some bucked up in vodka or something. That would be fun because I didn't get to do it this Memorial Day weekend. But, Harris, am I good now?
Yeah, we should be good.
He said, yeah, we should be good. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for keeping me on track. I appreciate that. And you know what? Stay bucked up. And I'll see you next week. And knuckle up as I go sweat and die.
Great Falls, we all know who the winner and champion of the 145-pound division is.
Turning his back, referee Andrew Glenn taking a close look, and that is it. Just like that, the win for Kai Stewart. Bombing overhand right, and that is it.
I am the best in the division, and I promise I will show it.
You can send anyone you want, but don't send anyone you want back. I'm number 1, baby!
We might be done if we are.